Hey dear viewers, AK here in Wuxi, and this is called Donglin Shuyuan, so Donglin Academy, built in the Song Dynasty, so in the 1400s, 1300s? Can't remember. But yeah, definitely one of the older building structures in the city, in the center of Wuxi. And at this point, it's mostly a nice little garden. I don't think anybody is actually studying here anymore. Alright, it looks like this is a tea house area. So, and that looks like the souvenir shop. Anyways, really here to check out the general layout and architecture, because there's quite a few academies around this country, but not, I would even say most of them are not open for visits, even though many of them look very similar to this one. If you ever get a chance to actually check them out, which oftentimes you won't because they are still owned or operated by certain private institutions. For example, the one in Xi'an is run by Shanxi Normal University. But this one here is basically just a garden at this point. I suppose a lot of students have sorry about that, put their prayers here. Yeah, essentially to just check out the garden areas and yeah, pretty little place, a very pretty little place. I like this typical Chinese garden, but you know, there's no reason not to love it. Anyways, this is it, I guess, for the academy, but really my reason of being in Wuxi is to just to have another feel for the city again. And the second is to there's a duck. Yeah, the second is to check out the center square one more time, just to see if anything's changed. Temple to the God of Wealth. It's located in a traditional historic neighborhood where a lot of famous, educated people have lived and worked. I think it makes for a great contrast to have traditional short one-story homes and buildings and temples among three very tall skyscrapers. It's definitely a really interesting and yeah, I can't really think of another word to describe this situation, but yeah, check things out. Traditional neighborhoods, and it's basically surrounded by big buildings. Yeah, so now I remember what I was gonna say. This is a really different take for making a tourism district out of an old neighborhood. If you can remember back to Xi'an or Chengdu, in places like Jiangsu or even in Yongxingfang, they're all crowded, filled with people, and the streets have been especially widened to accommodate for newly built buildings in the traditional style, so that, you know, they could accommodate more tourists as well as influencers. But for something like this, there's very few tourists around this area, and while retaining a lot of the actual historic buildings, it does also have the commercial element. As you can see, many of these shops are chain stores. You can find them anywhere else in China or even outside of China. And at the end of these alleyways, we have huge skyscrapers all over the place, making for a immense contrast, so that if you're a photography enthusiast, you can definitely get some insanely interesting photos. Sorry for using the word interesting so many times. I'm really at a loss of words because of how this trip has been kind of an eye-opener for me again. Yeah, I've literally been blown away several times on this trip, on this route finding trip. So again, that one there was someone's home or temple. Definitely was a historic building, but around it, it's all either newly built or renovated buildings that have been turned into shops, like this one right here. Not saying that there aren't similar neighborhoods like this one in other cities, but out of all of them, I think this one definitely holds a special place in my heart, especially because of how delicate everything has been made. It's like someone really took care when they designed this alleyway. Like all the twists and turns are just in the perfect angle that it does not seem boring, but it also allows you to get a perfect photo that can capture literally everything. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this historic neighborhood. So this is basically one of the traditional shopping districts of Wuxi, and I'm still a little sick. But yeah, this is one of the many reasons I like this city. It's just crowded enough, but not so crowded that it makes everything seem annoying or... Whoa. Okay, I really need to watch my step. But today there's really not as many people as I'd like. A lot of it is because of the weather. Really windy and cold today. Temperature dropped like 10 degrees overnight. That's one reason, but another reason is yeah, this place really is not what it used to be. Still, this is something that draws me to the city. Lots of shiny lights, sometimes lots of good music as well, like buskers and stuff. So yeah, generally I would say I still really like this city, and my goal here is accomplished.